of any consumer. Oga Ministers, I also heard you that you said that the subsidy is going to be removed. And because you talk about cost-reflective tariff, I've just reminded you that in 2016, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN mentions that when that increase came up, it is for cost-reflective tariff. Which other cost-reflective tariff do you want? NEC came up with service-based tariff. And you talk about removals of subsidy. Sir, which one is subsidies in electricity tariff? I've not heard about it since service-based tariffs have been introduced, because that was what they said that time when they want to increase the tariff in 2020, September 2020, that which they are giving us now is to remove the subsidy. How many times will subsidy be removed? Or you don't have anything to say, you just want us to know that you are the minister. We are here to tell you that we will not watch you to continue to pummel and impoverish the masses through different kind of policy that is somersault. We will rise up to let you know that we know our right from our left, and we know what to do in times like this. There's only one thing you can do, Mr. Minister. What you can do is to rise up to your office dictate, tie your belt, and ask questions among those that knows. Stop picking words from people around you just because they want you to be satisfied. Beginning to engage the stakeholder, beginning to engage those people that matters, so that you will have the true pictures of what is going on in the power sector. Next year, they want to implement the increase in tariff that will take the present band SIM, which is paying 45 naira something kobo, to 137 naira next year. Yet there is still not improvement in it. You did not bother to ask questions. How is metering going on? It is one policy somersault to the other when it comes to metering. And yet, you are blaming us for the ineptitude, for the inefficiency of both your office, both the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, who happen to be the regulatory body, and the DISCOs that are supposed to be the last hope of the consumers in the electricity sector. You are not facing them at all. You mentioned in one of your statements when you visited the Ibadan Electric last year that it is wrong for the consumers to be buying, or community to be buying transformer. What step have you taken thereafter? Or is this just because of word of mouth? No, it is not only in word of mouth. You must match your word with action. That is when we know that you know what you are doing there as minister of power, not by putting blame on us. If everyone is metered, they will be able to pay and purchase what they will use. If everybody has meter, even when there is no light, nobody will pay for what they are not using. And therefore, even if you increase the tariff, whoever that bought the recharge, we know that the money he has in his meter will not go away when there is no light. And this also will push the DISCO and the GENCO to continue to generate more, which also will push the DISCO to provide transformer to the people, because he knows that the community that does not have light within the period their transformer has fault, it means a revenue loss for them. It will help the DISCO to make sure that when there is no light, they will run scatter to find the way to fix the light of any community. It is because there is no meter, and it is because your office fails to impress it on them that without metering, they are not supposed to operate. May I remind you, Mr. Minister, that Section 114 of the new Electricity Act 2014 as amended, 2024 as amended, has said that the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, which you are the supervising minister over, said that any DISCO that does not provide meter within the stipulated period of 1 year and 1.5 years that they are promised to meter the consumer, they are supposed to lose their license. Did you look into that at all? Did you try as much as possible to check whether the DISCOs are true to this statement or they are ready to meet up? And what would have been the sanction if they fail to meet up? Mr. Minister, that you blame the fact that we are not getting an investor on non-cost reflective tariff not being paid by the consumer. Have you ever asked the DISCO why are they not implementing the capping method in which make the consumer to pay exactly whatever the GENCO generates? Because the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission issue what we call the capping method 2020 onto every DISCO, and every month, every areas have been capped with certain amount of consumed unit, but the DISCOs have never obeyed it. The one that you are referring to, in which the NEC has just released, was what happened in February 2020 when the capping method was first introduced. I knew all these things because I was part of it. I knew all this because my organization, All Electricity Consumer Protection Forum, was given a chance to put an input to come up with that capping method at that point in time. And when the capping method came out, 7 discos failed to obey the capping method. And we wrote to NEC, and NEC issued unto them a threat of sanction in June 2020. It was because we continue to press the neck of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. That's why they are able to come up with the sanctions against the DISCO 4 years after. Did you bother to ask that question? How many consumers have suffered in that 4 years paying for the money that they did not hold the DISCO? But you come out to say that it is the DISCO, it is the consumer that are making GENCO not to generate, so that we will come out of this epileptic supply. It is not going to be business as usual, Mr. Honorable Minister. We are going to rise up as consumer, and we are going to tell you the truth. We will make sure that we use every legal means to let you know that you cannot blame us for the inefficiencies in your office and in operational attitudes and unwholesome behaviors of the DISCOs and Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. It is a fact that when the purpose of a thing is not known, the abuse is imminent. It is because you may not know the purpose and the opportunity that is embedded in the power sector, in which can make and turn around our economy. That is why you think that you are looking for blame game or an excuse so that you will now be blamed for this present epileptic supply. Because I watched and I read in Twitter the bombardment of the consumers against you. So you want an escape, and then you put the blames on the people that's already been overburdened with money that they are paying that is not supposed to even be their business. This is it, Oga Minister. We are going to engage you. We are going to write to your office. This I release here today. I'm going to put it in pen and paper, and I'm going to set it into your office. I'm going to follow it up to the point that you may also force us to protest, a legal protest, to let you know that if you don't know that the consumers are already suffering, we have suffered more than enough. Even this epileptic supply, I can tell you, Mr. Minister, that those people that are on estimated billing, their bill will not be different from the bill they gave to them last month. Why? Because there's nobody to regulate the activities of the DISCO. You may ask, why is Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission is there? The same way you cannot supervise them efficiently, in the same way they have failed to supervise the DISCO efficiently. And I can tell you, for that purpose, the DISCO does what they like, and everybody look away. And I can also, with all insight and confidence, tell you, Mr. Minister, that even the recent sanction they placed on the DISCO based on the 2020 February 20th capping method that they did not obey, I will tell you that they will not obey it, they will not implement it. Why? Because the rat and the cat, they are friends, which is unfortunately in Nigeria is the norm. They will not, because they know that there is nothing that will come out of that sanction that they have given to them. Mr. Minister, we are not the fall guy. The consumers are not the fall guy, and we are not supposed to be responsible for what all other stakeholders in the power sector are supposed to do. If at all, the consumer that I know that have been in charge of advocacy in the last 10 years since the privatizations of the power sector, they have been overburdened. We have expected when you come, you will come with a policy that will reduce their burden. You will come with a bank that will let the DISCO know that somebody now is in charge, so that the consumer will stop buying what we call transformer, buying line materials and poles. Community will stop buying it and gathering money. And even when they want to energize themselves, the DISCO will still ask for money, which is an aberration. Those are the areas you should look at. Those are the areas you should look into. The consumers are not the problem. The stakeholders in the sector, which happens to be the DISCO, as well as the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, they are the problem you should look up and find the solutions to solve. The consumers are not your problem. Rather, they are being the fall guy alone, and they have been paying for what they did not use. God bless Nigeria. It is well.